Okay, but now let's start. Well, hello there, or moin, as we say here in Hamburg. Welcome to Stitch-Ilonka. My name is Ilonka. Yes, it's spelled with an I, but pronounced with an E. And you are here on my channel where I talk about cross-stitch and the one or the other art story thrown in for good measure. You will accompany me on my cross-stitch journey, which started last year in summer, and I have found during these times that I've been making Flosstube videos that there is a whole lot more to cross-stitch and to this international community than I would have ever thought, and I would like to share a few things with you. Let me say something first. I am in Germany. I am German. I also watch the news. It's Thursday, February 24th of 2022. I, of course, seen the news. I know what's going on. I have my own thoughts and opinions on this. I have my own worries. And I've been thinking about whether to address it or not. And I came to the conclusion that this is a cross-stitch channel, and that I would like to talk to you about cross-stitching for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, and spend some time with you talking about our favorite hobby, and just, you know, keep you company for that time. And after that, we can go back to the real world. And so we would just talk about cross-stitch today, if that's okay with you. Okay, now what awaits you in this episode? I have 3 fully finished objects. I have 1 finished object. I have 3 or 4 whips that I've been working on. And at the end, I will also have a look at this wonderful letter sampler that will be released at Nashville by JBW Designs. I will have a closer look at these odd letters that are down here, as this is a German letter sampler, and I will dive into that a bit further. I have provided timestamps down in the description box for easier navigation, and so I think let's just jump right into this video. But first, let me start with my segment, Phrases from Around the World. Last time we talked about the cold and how all over the world, the cold is often related to the temperature of your rear end. And I've been asking myself, why is that? Why are we talking about a well digger's behind, or just in Germany we would just say it's arschkalt, so it's ass cold. Why would we say that? And people in the comments actually came up with a solution that it's because of that it might be because of the outhouses that people would have to use back in the days, because that, you know, in wintertime, that would be the only part of the body that would be exposed to the cold when you had to go, you know. So, yes, I think that sounds plausible. And Kristi from Dr. Kristi from Kristi's Corner Needlework, I always want to say Needlecraft. No, it's Kristi's Corner Needlework here on Flosstube. She's got a Flosstube channel as well. And she asked me to translate the following sentence or the following phrase into German. Because in English you would say to kill a bird with 1 stone. If you accomplish something and accomplish a second thing at the same time with the same amount of effort. And we would not kill birds, we would kill flies. So in Germany we would say, 2 Fliegen mit einer Klappe geschlagen. So we would slap 2 flies with 1 clap. And I'm very curious, what types of animals are you killing with 1 strike in other countries? Please tell me down in the comment section. And she also said that she really likes the phrase, not my monkeys, not my circus. And when I dove into that, because we tend to say this as well, only this is a recent development that, you know, people of my age or younger would say, not my monkeys, not my circus. And they would say it actually in English. But the German translation for that type of this doesn't concern me would be, das ist nicht mein Bier. That's not my beer. Also very telling about the German culture, isn't it? And I have a new one for you because I've been recently watching the final episode of Star Wars: The Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus. And Cobb Venth says, I have to read it, well, if that isn't the quactor calling the stifling slimy. I have no idea what the quactor and the stifling is. But anyway, it's the same thing as if you would say, well, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black. You know, if someone is hypocritical. And I have been racking my brain ever since this final episode and ever since this has come up, what the German equivalent for this would be, because we don't really have a nice phrase for that. We would just, oh, of course, no. Oh, yes, we would call them a false 50. Yes, that's it. Goodness me, sitting in front of the camera, you actually witnessed a brain fart. Ein falscher 50er. No, that's not it. That's not really it. There must be a translation for that. There must be a German expression for the pot calling the kettle black. But I really don't know. If there are German-speaking people here, please comment down below, because I really, I'm sure there is a nice phrase for that. And if you, if you're from another country, please let me know if there's a wonderful expression for that in your language. Now let's get into some crafting. Last time I showed a weaving project that I had finished like 4 or 5 years ago, and my friend Stephanie at SEWGlover Creations dared me to fully finish this object, and she came up with the hashtag #FullyFinishFebruary, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. And so I finally, looked at Kristi's, from Kristi Cornell Needlecraft, Kristi's tutorial on how she finished her weaving, and I found a frame that had a picture in it that I wasn't really, looking at anymore, and I found this piece of fabric that I bought for something completely different, and it all just matched wonderfully and looked just gorgeous. And so I just put it all together. This is a piece of felt, not a foam board, but an actual felt piece that I covered with this fabric. And so I could really, stick the needle and the thread through and pull it through and, really stitch it on or sew it on tight on this piece of felt. And then I just backed it with the backing of this frame that came with it. And this is just a normal IKEA Riba picture frame, A4 size. And I just love it. The next finish I have finished it quite some time ago, and I haven't had the chance to fully finish it. And I ordered a golden, what kind of, it's a wooden frame. It's a golden wooden frame I ordered from a German custom frame website. I ordered it without the glass and without the backing, but it had a foam board in it in the exact size that I needed it to. And so I just, did it like you would see on any tutorial, lacing tutorial, that you would just put the pins into the foam board and then I just slid it in. But the thing that I wasn't considering is that if I ordered this without a without glass and without the backing, that I would not have, these little pins that you would stick into the nudges to hold the foam board in place. But I'm a plumber's daughter and I know how to, I am crafty and witty. And so I just, slid some beer coasters in there. Pipe me. I love it. I still haven't found the right place for it, but yeah, I'm happy that it's not finally in a frame and that I just need a nail and a hammer and have a nice place for it and that I can hang it up. And the third thing is this here, and you probably know what this is. It's the Simpsons boat picture that's hanging above their couch. And I stitched this on a blue Aida 16 count with DMC thread that I had in my stash. Stitched it 2/1, except for the C. Oh my god, it's wonky. Except for the C, which was 3/1, because I was lazy and I wanted to get it finished. And I just extended it to the right and the left to to fit in this standard 4x6 frame. And this is really not a fancy frame. It's just, I don't even remember where I got this from. This is just a normal picture frame, and it fit in there. And I just think it's gorgeous. As I said, I love these obscure references that not every person would understand at first glance. So yeah, but I'm really happy that I'm finally finished something, to hold something in my hand that's fully finished, or to hang something on the wall that's fully finished. That's really wonderful. I also finished Stitches Through the Years. Please turn your TV sets around so that you can see it. Sorry, start again. I also finished the Stitches Through the Years Mini Quaker Winter is Coming on 32 count Belfast linen in platinum, with some of those flosses that were called for, I think, except this one and this one. This is the same. These two and this one. I didn't order, but I wanted to start, and so I had some DMC thread, but the rest is the called for colors. And I saw that you would really have to pay attention to those heavily variegated thread. This is Wood Smoke by the Gentle Art, but still I love it a lot, and it's finally finished. And now I can start with the Spring Quaker. I'm going to show you in a second with that Spring Quaker by Stitches Through the Years. Now you have to help me, because I started this one on a piece of linen that would actually be long enough to fit all 4 Quakers on this one. And this is like 55 stitches? Yeah, 55. I didn't have to look it up. 55 stitches high, and all of them would be that size. And so I actually thought I could, fit them all on one and then just frame it all together and have it on the wall. But what do you think? Should I be framing this individually? I somehow think that it would look better. Oh my god, I have a huge traveling thread. Oh no, I still have to. I thought that might look one sentence at a time. So actually, I'm thinking about framing it individually and to hang them individually, not really for the sake of having changing decorations, changing according to the season, but being more free in terms of where to put it, and to here, to there, whatever. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. And now for the whips. I've been working on my Golden Girls. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I have been telling you that this particular pattern is no longer available at that Etsy store that I bought it from. When I started out, I mean, I bought this in August, and I only started stitching at the end of July. So I bought this. It was really one of my first patterns that I ever bought together with the Loki design. And then a few weeks later, I learned about this whole copyright thing, and about when a pattern disappears from Etsy, that it might be fraudulent, or that might be stolen art or whatever. And I was really thinking about, what am I going to do with it? And I asked this particular shop if they can tell me why this is no longer available at their shop. And the answer was a bit vague. So I really thought about it, and I am still going to stitch it because, one, I love it. Two, it's my Betty White tribute cell. It was the first Etsy buy I ever did, and I am way more conscious about buying from Etsy now than I was back in the days, but I am still gonna finish it. And what I really loved about this thing this week was that I was running out of ink. It looks like a printer that ran out of ink. And a few days before, I watched the Giddy Stitchers video about how she was trying to teach her boyfriend to crochet. And she had an interview with her boyfriend, and he said, well, he was so interested in learning how to crochet because it's like, you know, having a rustic printer, a rustic 3D printer sitting next to you on the couch, because she has, you know, a piece of thread, and at the end there, something comes out there that is, you know, a 3D thing. And I laughed so hard about this analogy because it's really like that, you know, it is like a 3D printing thing when you're doing crochet or knitting. And this just reminded me of this, because this really looks like I'm running out of ink here. And I really ran out of 211, and I cannot buy until Tuesday because I have a self-inflicted no shop month now. And yeah, I just wanted to finish this color so that I can move the Q-snaps to work on Estelle Getty's face here. But I still love it. I'm still looking forward to it. I'm working on a 18 count Ada, or shall we say Aida, as it's correct in German, just as Chris proposed in his video today. Aida. Well, and then I made some progress on my Little Girl on the Beach by the Gold Collection, Petit 18 count Ada with the provided floss. And looking at it through the camera is really something different when you're just sitting, you know, so I am old. I have to take my glasses off and get really close to the fabric to see the holes. And so if I'm sitting there, you know, and have it so close to my face, I often don't really see what it actually looks like. But when I look at it through the camera, it's really something different. The sky is gorgeous. You can already see the waves here where you don't stitch anything. So you're really looking at the fabric underneath. And I love it so far, and I can't wait to, you know, stitch more in this. I have been neglecting this a bit because I have been stitching. I really wanted to finish the Winter Quaker and wanted to get a bit of, you know, bit of progress on the Golden Girls. So I haven't been stitching on it that much. But what I have been stitching on quite a bit more is my Rain Rustle Afremov piece, Leonid Afremov. And I had to start with, you know, some orangey colors, because I have been in this part, and it's gorgeous, but it's dark, you know, it's dark blues and dark reds and stuff. And I really wanted to get into some brighter colors. And so I started with the orange, and I was really, you know, proud of myself that I've been stitching that much, and I really, you know, you can see some colors and wonderful. And then I checked the reference picture to see where I actually am. And let me illustrate this for you. I am up here, you know, just this part here. And I'm still not finished. How long is this gonna take? I mean, yeah, it's like, I think I'm at 2% now, something. I remember in my stitching Discord group, my German Discord group, we have a new stitcher, and she's like, oh, you're all working on these wonderful heids, and they are so gorgeous, but they are so big, and what do you do with them? You know, so many, like I see people on Flosstube and on Stickjunkies, and they have 3, 4, 5 heids, you know, running at the same time. What do you do with them? And collectively, the girls who are only working on heids say, finish them. That's what we do. So it's really, I know that this is a multiple months, maybe years project. But yeah, it's gonna stay with me for a while and you'll be seeing it quite a few times, I guess. So this is really all that I've been stitching on. I want to do some shout outs as well, because my dear friend Esther, the Danish stitcher, she's been doing Flosstubes in German and in English now, which I am very happy about. And I actually won something from her from, yes, I won the Easter sampler, and she said it's already in the post, so next time you're going to see it. And so I have something to stitch for Easter. And yeah, as I already mentioned her, the Giddy Stitcher, well, she's just gorgeous. This video she made with her boyfriend about crocheting was so cool, and I showed it to my boyfriend and showed him this part where Dave said, well, it's like a rustic 3D printer. And you know, we watched some more, and he was like, well, I don't really want to learn how to crochet. I would just like to sit down and have a gin and tonic with them. Is that possible? Well, they are not that far away. They are in England somewhere, so maybe. I also want to shout out my dear friend Amber, RougeMamaStitcher here on Flosstube. She has recently been doing Flosstubes with her boy together, with her son Toasty, and they two have a gorgeous dynamic with each other. And he's really a clever boy. And he's also started stitching, as I recall, although I guess he would have to kind of, you know, tuck his stitching away, because when he's in bed, his mom tends to sneak on his projects and tends to stitch on this project. So yeah. But give her some love, show her some love. She's really gorgeous, and she stitches a lot of cutesy things. And oh, she's recently finished 2 wonderful letter samplers. Wonderful segue into my next segment. Wait. Some letter samplers in really cool variegated threads, and they just look amazing. And that showed me that I really have to learn a few more things about variegated threads. But yeah, RougeMamaStitcher here on Flosstube. So segue, letter sampler. Chris Cross-Stitch alerted me to a video by JBW Designs, and she made a video about her latest designs and the designs that she will be releasing at Nashville. And I don't know if you recall, I said that I am not really interested in stitching letter samplers because, you know, I know all the letters, so why would I be wanting to stitch the ABC? But she showed a letter sampler by a German woman or girl called Helene Schnorr, from 1874. So she stitched this 100 years before my brother was born. Exactly 100 years. Anyway, so she showed it, and she asked if anyone can. This is a German girl, and she stitched German letterings, and this type of alphabet is called a fracture alphabet. So this is an alphabet that you would use for printing pamphlets or whatever, books, any type of printing, sorry. And she asked what these odd letterings were here at the bottom. And I will turn the camera around just in a second and show you why we have these types of, you know, special lettering. Let's have a look at the letters down here. This is a fracture alphabet that you would use for printing. For example, in this pamphlet here, this is a pamphlet for the 300 years celebration of the city of Rodenberg, where my grandmother lived. And this was printed in 1927. I just happened to find it when I was looking through the office the other day. And as you can already see, this says Festschrift. So this is an F-E-S-T-S-C-H-R-I-F-T. So you see that the F and the S look really similar. And I'm going to flip through this pamphlet in a minute. I just want to address first the letters that we have down here. at the end of this alphabet. If you've seen, if you go through these alphabets here, you see that the G-H-I-K, that this is a K, and it looks really different from the K that we would usually see right now in our printing. Also, this is an S, P-Q-R-S-T. And down here is the Z, although this Z would actually have an elongated tail down here, actually. So these letters would have been used for setting up a printing press to print something like this. But, and you would understand that each letter is its own lead stamp, you know, like these little wooden stamps that you would have the piece of lead down at the end, which is carved in these types of letters so that you can put them next to each other, flip it around, put some ink on it, and then you could print it. But there are a few letters in this, they are, which are hard to combine, because for example, if you have this S and the Z, the tail from the Z would bump into the tail of the S here. And that's why you would combine this very sharp S to this kind of letter, which is basically an S and a Z. And this is actually a very interesting letter in the German language still today. And I'm gonna have a look at here. See again like this. And today we would write it like this. So if you have a word, let's say Maße and Masse. At first glance, these two look the same, but if it's, first of all, it's pronounced differently, you would elongate the vowel that's in front of this S set, whereas this is, you know, pronounced rather shortly. So this is Maße and this is Masse. This means dimensions, or measurements, and this means volume, for example. Now let's go on to the next one. These are just two S's, like in this example. And this is a T and a Z. So it's not an S, it's shorter. It has the vertical stroke here, like here. And it's a Z close by. And because the tail of the Z would bump into this tail here from the T, they produced their own stamp for the TZ. And this is a TS sound, so tss, like Katze or kratzen, or, you know, this harsh TS sounds that you like the German language for so much. And again, just with the SZ, you would combine the T and the Z to one printing block that you can use for printing. And the same with the CH, because the S and the CH, the round S will be used as opposed to the long S. This is a long S and this is a round S. The long S would be used like here in the middle of a word, but never at the end of the word. At the end of a word, you would use the round S. And there are exceptions, of course, but where there's a rule, there's an exception. Just let's go on. What is this? This seems to be an... Oh, this is a J. Okay, this is the J that's missing here. This one. This is a J. It would actually belong in here, and you would have a J and an I, and they look very, very different in printed form. I have a wonderful example here. This here is a J. And right underneath, this is an I. So they look really, really similar, and it's just that the J is slightly longer than the bottom of this line here. And this one is a C and a K, if you have a look at this K up here. The K in the printing printing press for the fracture font looks really different than the K that you would be using, that we would be using right now. And because we have a few words that are spelled with a C and a K, and we would have the problem that the top of the C and this vertical stroke here of the K would bump into each other, they made their own printing press symbol as well for this one. So again, this is an SZ for the sharp S with the long vowel before it, an S and an S, a T and a Z for the sharp Ts sound, the round S as opposed to the long S, the CH because it's often used together like this and it's easier for the I to flow. This is a J, which actually belongs in between here, and this is a CK. CK as in Hacke, Strecke, a very hard K that you would pronounce in the back of your throat. Now let's have a look at a few examples here in this pamphlet. I'm really happy that I found it. I'm always amazed when I look at these pamphlets that I am actually able to read it, because I've been exposed to this type of reading or to this type of text for all my life, and it doesn't seem to be that different. It was forbidden. This type of writing was forbidden in 1941 because this strange guy with a beard had some crazy ideas that this would have been tied to, or this type of font would have been tied to those people that he didn't like, and that's why he forbade to use it, and instead they had to use the Antiqua font. But that's just a side note. Menschen, people, or men, MENSCHEN, and you see that the spacing between the C and the H here is slightly different than the spacing between these two letters. This is because this is one stamp, if you will, one letter, and these are separate letters. And you see this is the actual written Z, where you see the lower tail down here that would bump into the lowercase, the lower part of this S here. Let me see if I can find oh yeah, here it is. Straße, street, STRSZE. This is a cool word. Well, not really in the sense of what it represents, but it looks so cool. This word is Schießscharten, and it's a loophole or embrasure, you know. And this is an S, CHIE, the S set for the sharp S, an SCH for sh, ARTEN. There's the printed letter K, kurz, KURZ, short. Oh, and this is a wonderful example for the long S and the short S. So we have dieses, which is which, or that. So DIESES. But why do we use the round S at the end? This is the rule. We would never use the long S at the end of a word. We would always use the round S at the end of the word. And why do we actually have this? Well, it's said actually it's a quirk of this font for one, and on the other hand, it's easier to read it. Einst so stolze Befestigung, yes, it's BEFESTIGUNG, an F, an F and an S. It's actually easier, it's supposed to be easier to read it once you're used to this type of printing. So I'm really happy that I was able to show you show you this, and I'm so much looking forward to stitching this one. As I said, I'm not really into stitching alphabets, but this one I will definitely stitch, because this is something that's so close to my heritage, and this is so familiar to me, especially these cases here. And my grandmother actually learned how to do the written font for these, the current writing, which is not this one. It's a different one. But I'm really looking forward to stitching this one. Maybe we can I hope that we can get this one here in Germany soon enough. I hope you enjoyed this little excursion into the printing press and the German lettering. If you want to know a bit more about letters on samplers and about German samplers and the symbolism of German samplers and Dutch samplers, please also have a look at Modern Folk Embroidery, Jacob de Graaf's Flosstube channel. He made a very interesting interview or Zoom chat video with Dorothee Kenzie, who is the head of Werkstatt für historische Stickmuster, so the workshop for historical stitching patterns here in Germany, and they were chatting about samplers and the symbolism of certain, you know, motifs that you would find on samplers. And if you're interested in that, I highly recommend this video. Yeah, if you want to learn a bit more about that. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, a few videos back, I was filming the traditional garments of my village and of the district where I was from, like 40 kilometers to the west of Hanover, in the center of Germany. And I just had a look at the very delicate embroidery that we used to have on our garments. So if you're interested in that, I'm gonna link the video below, and maybe also here or here. Where is it? I'm not that up there. And what else will I be doing the next few months, the next few weeks? I will be stitching, but also I plan on traveling through Germany, traveling through one of our local needle shops here in Germany. We don't have them, you know, nearly as often as you would have in the US, for example, or in maybe in other places. I don't know how the landscape is in England, but it feels, or to me at least, it feels like that you would only have to drive like half an hour to get to another local needle shop where is, you know, where you would have all the stitching on the wall, and where you can buy all the patterns and everything and all the flosses. But we don't really have that vast of a variety of local needle shops here. And I have been talking to one of them regarding these new Nashville releases and how she, you know, how she purchases them and how they, or when they will come to Germany. And I will probably, you know, be reporting about that when I visit her in the next month to see if she's willing to maybe even make an interview with us. We'll see. Because I've been watching these videos. Why did you do these videos presenting all your favorites from the Nashville market release things? Now I have a huge list of things that I want to get, but I really don't know how to get them here in Germany, because I don't know which Etsy shop to trust. I don't know which shop in the US I could possibly buy them from. I don't know if they will be coming to Germany and if I can just source them here. Well, anyway, I think I will have to stop filming soon, because it's getting windy and rainy again, and I am completely sick of the freaking rain and freaking wind especially. Oh my god, it's been so windy the last 2 weeks. I was trying to make a video about a German stitching dictionary, and I had to restart it. I had to postpone it a few days even, because it was so windy and so rainy, and it was so loud in here I couldn't film. And yeah, it seems like it's getting rainier again now, so I have to stop filming now. See you again in 2 weeks, hopefully. Until then, happy stitching. And I'm just plagiarizing or stealing from someone's outro. Okay, see you soon, my lovelies, and have a wonderful time. Bye-bye. Some of these letters, no, I'm actually turning it around. And raindrops keep falling on my head. Warum regnet das denn immer noch? It's still raining.